A J-Mix exclusive.
Hello all, it's J-Mix here, and I'd like to welcome all my YouTube subs and viewers to part 3 of my exclusive interview with Mr. Darren Vegas. Darren Vegas is former head producer at Death Row Records, and as a matter of fact, this is his production you're hearing playing right now. You can make this your next hit by stopping by www.darrenvegasmusic.com. So without any further ado, here's the final part of my exclusive interview with Mr. Darren Vegas. Darren, do you know why Dr. Dre is credited on Just Doggin' on the 2002 album?
Yeah, I have no idea. Then the only ones I did were those, I think it was 4 or 5 songs that they had wanted me to do, and so I didn't even hear the other songs that were on the album or know who did them. They just gave me those songs to do the tracks for. So I have no idea.
You had mentioned working with Left Eye. Is it fair to say that when she came to the label, she was in a relationship with Suge Knight?
I'm not sure about that, but I think so. I couldn't really tell. So maybe they weren't in a relationship, but I was stoked when she came to the label because I always thought she was a great artist. And it was sad. When she passed away, I had been working on her solo record over there, and we had been working in the studio all the time, and that was a great loss to hip hop right there. A legend.
Can you tell us a little bit about Left Eye the person, and is it true that when she came to the label, she really wanted to do a Tupac song?
I can't remember that for sure or not, but she was like just a super humble, really nice chick. It's like when she was in there at first, I was in there making a beat and stuff, and there was a whole bunch of people in the studio, and I just looked to the side and seen this girl with a hoodie on, kind of like bobbing her head to the music, rapping, like freestyling to it a little bit and stuff. And I walked over there just to see who it was, and she lifted her head, and I was like, hey, what's going on? I was tripped out. I had no idea she was coming to the label, But she was real cool. She's like, oh, I love this beat, and, I think we're going to be working in the studio together pretty soon. And so we were chopping it up and stuff, and then we started working after that. But she was real cool.
You also worked with Keisha Cole before she got noticed?
Yeah, exactly.
She came to Death Row at a pretty young age, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if she was like 17 or 18 or something, I'm not really sure. But yeah, she was dope though too, Everybody that was at the label at that time, like you just knew that they could be superstars, And Ray J, his career, he had put out one record, I think, before he was over at Death Row and was about to make stuff happen again, And we were doing a lot of songs over there, and people had, kind of talked shit about Ray J sometimes and saying he wasn't this or that good or whatever, but when we would put up a beat and he had to write and stuff and put a hook and stuff, he would come up with hooks as fast as anybody I've ever worked with. So I was impressed on the stuff that he did. And then he ended up blowing up after that.
Darren, why is it, do you think, that a lot of artist projects were shelved? Do you think this was due to the legal situation at Death Row Records? I mean, why do we not hear a Danny Boy album or a Crooked Eye release?
It's insane, like the amount of talent that was all in the studio every day together working over there, and none of those records came out. It was like sickening to me. Like that's why after that shit all went down. It's like I just walked away from the record business for a while. I was like, fuck this, It's like you had Danny Boy, Corrupt, Left Eye, Keisha Cole, Ray J, Crooked Eye, Spider Loc, Eastwood, Juvenile was there too, and whoever, if I'm not mentioning any, Gail Gotti, Queen, a whole bunch of like super dope artists, and nothing was getting released. And it was like sick because I was in there producing probably 3 songs a day, for like a few years. And everything got shelved. And then it never got promoted, Some stuff got released, like the Dysfunctional Family soundtrack and stuff like that, but there was no promotion behind it. So it was like such a waste to me. And I'm not sure if it was because the IRS was about to seize everything Suge had, and he didn't want to put a bunch of money into the records and then not get the money back. I'm not really sure exactly what happened. I just know it didn't happen,
You're bringing up Juvenile. I've also heard that perhaps No Limit was linking up with Death Row. Any truth to that?
You know, I didn't see any connection with No Limit, but Juvenile and like Young Buck were over there, and Skip, and we were all making songs together over there all the time too. They just had they had the tour bus parked right in the back of the studio and were working over there for months.
What was the point where you said, this is enough, I'm leaving Death Row Records?
You know, it wasn't even, I never gave up on Death Row. You know, I was still in there working all the time, and it's like nobody really knew what happened. It's like everybody just stopped getting paid at once, and the records weren't getting promoted, and we were like, shit. And the fucked up part was we were all signed in contract. I was signed a 7-year deal. So even if Suge said go ahead and go get another deal, it didn't matter because the industry is such a small thing. I had meetings at all these labels set up where they wanted to give me publishing deals and whatnot. And at the end of the day, when it would come down to me getting signed, it was like CEOs would be like, we can't do this deal because we don't know what's going to happen with the Death Row deal. If Suge's going to come after us, or we just can't do it. It's too vague what your deal is now. And so I was pretty much locked in the deal for 7 more years, and no one would, hire me to work. So that's why I was like, fuck this. I got a family. I got to earn a living. I went and started playing poker for a living. And yeah, I would sell beats. I was still selling music all the time to independent artists and stuff, but I couldn't fuck with the majors because they wouldn't fuck with me at that time. It was crazy. And I was going to say, in Crook and I was in the same type of situation for a while, and I took him to another label, and he ended up getting a deal over there, but I know they struggled with getting his record out. He never came out with a solo record from over there, so and I think he's just now coming out with records, but we haven't talked we haven't talked actually since that deal had went down.
You stated that the business were shying away in fear that maybe Suge Knight would come after them. Do you feel that that's an unfair portrayal of Suge Knight?
I don't know if it's unfair or if it's just when it comes to somebody getting, with a company wanting to give you that much money to sign, because I wasn't going to sign for cheap amounts. It was like they don't want to deal with anything, any type of bullshit. So them not knowing, Suge had the whole industry scared. Everybody on the West Coast, record labels, they didn't want Suge and his entourage coming through their office saying, hey, this is my artist, what the fuck is going on? You owe me money. So I think they were just like, we don't even want to go down that road. There's other producers out there that we'll mess with and do stuff. So, it was a shitty situation for me and all the artists that had signed deals.
Who took on being the head of Death Row Records when Suge Knight went to prison?
Suge was still the head. I was producing all the music, and it was just pretty much a cat by the name of Reggie was there for a while, and Butch Smalls was, in charge of the studio and stuff and coordinating all that. Tommy D was the engineer. I was the producer. Jim Gedham was producing, and my boy Monster, and that's pretty much who was running all of Death Row.
Darren, are you still on good terms with Suge Knight?
Yeah, if I see him, everything is all good between us. I actually run into him in Vegas every now and then. I would just, be at a club somewhere or something and see him, and I don't really hit the clubs as much anymore and stuff, but, yeah, I went to the studio probably 2 years ago. He had called me up there to maybe work with some of his new artists he was working with, but it didn't pan out or whatever. But no, everything was cool as far as I know, as far as the last time we talked.
Can you tell aspiring artists how to get up with Darren Vegas?
The best way to get in touch with me is just email me, darrenvegas@gmail.com. I got a website, darrenvegasmusic.com. I'm producing artists like, I'm out on vacation right now for 2 days, but when I get back to the studio, I got about 10 artists lined up that are waiting on production and stuff, and it's like, the music business for me is booming again, it's a great thing, because for a while there, it was something I didn't even want to be a part of, and I think a lot of it's too because I knew I had a new son coming and really was on the grind with music again, and, I'm making it happen good again right now, and it's a different game though, The game for me is independent artists with budgets that come to me and I'll produce them. As far as a lot of guys that are signed and stuff like that, it's like so many of these young producers are just throwing their beats to rappers and artists because everybody's trying to be a producer these days with computers and being able to do beats online. It's like they fucked up the whole game. So it's like, if you're trying to work with some known artists, you're not getting paid for a while. Like, you got to just give them beats. Then later, you hope the record label pays you, you know. And me, I got a family to support, so the only people I work with is, look, you come to the door, it's X amount, we work out a deal, you know, I'll do your album or an EP, and I'll teach you how to sell records because I've been doing it my whole life. Now, whether you take what I teach you and do it is up to you, which a lot of artists don't do. They think they know, but they really don't know the game, you know. But, you know, I'm having a ball again in the music business, and I'm loving every day waking up and being in the studio again.
And in closing, Darren, do you have a message for the fans at TupacNation.net?
I just, you know what, it's, you know, I had seen different things, comments and stuff when I have produced remixes on Tupac and stuff like that. It's like, you know, I just hope that they love the music. You know, I'm a big fan of Tupac. I would have loved to, I wish he was still alive today. I wish I could be working with him, and I hope they keep supporting his music for years, you know. He was a great artist and a great loss, and I was just proud to be a part of anything that had to do with him.
Once again, this is J-Mix here. I want to thank all my YouTube subs and viewers. A big thank you to Darren Vegas, and be sure to check out www.darrenvegasmusic.com. I'll see everybody on the next upload. One love, everybody.
A J-Mix exclusive.
What up, shut up?